Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Pravikarajacharya, Shota Shota Shishiman, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Shri Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinda. So today we'll be reading from Chaitanya Bhagavat, it's, chapter 3 of the Adi Kanda. And so we'll just read through that until breakfast is ready and discuss a little bit like that. I'll mostly be reading, and then I'll make some comments here and there. So, Om Jnana-timanandasya Gnana-Janjana Salakaya Chakshrolam Vinitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shukta Parakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganaftam Itam Tam Shrivam Savadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Saritam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Laritam Shri Vishakam Itam Cha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimante Bhaktivikas Swami Nityanamane. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimante Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nivishesha Sunivari Pashketa Deshatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Samarpaito Manasvajala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Parata Datta Sundar Dudu Kandam Dipidasana Hridaya Kanaresh Puratu Sachinandana. So let's see here. So we can start in this. Wonder if we read the summary or not. Anyways, we could read the summary and then we'll go into it. So chapter 3, calculation of the Lord's horoscope. This chapter describes the appearance of Sriman Mahaprabhu along with congregational chanting of the holy names on the pretext of a lunar eclipse, the calculation of the child Vishwambar's horoscope by Nilambara Chakravarti, the celebration of Vishwambar's appearance at the house of Jagganath Misra, and the glories of the appearance days of Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Prior to his advent, Sriman Mahaprabhu preached the congregational chanting of the names of Lord Hari on the pretext of a lunar eclipse, and then he appeared in this world. But to speak of others, even those who had never uttered the names of Hari by mistake loudly chanted the names of Hari while going to take bath in the Ganges on that day. The loud chanting of Krishna's names filled the 10 directions. Sri Sachi and Jagganath forgot themselves in ecstasy as they looked at the beautiful face of their son. The great astrologer, Sri Nilambara Chakravarti, found the symptoms of an exalted personality in his calculation of the Lord's horoscope. He was struck with wonder and began to glorify the Lord according to his horoscope. One particular Brahmana there described Sriman Mahaprabhu as Lord Narayan himself, the deliverer of the world, the founder of religious principles, and an unprecedented preacher, the giver of religious principles desired by personalities like Lord Shiva and Sukadeva Goswami, the bestower of mercy on all living entities, the life and soul of the entire universe, and the worshipable Lord of everyone. He thus revealed all these extraordinary qualities of the Lord. That Brahmana further declared innumerable universes will glorify the activities of this child Narayan. This child is the embodiment of Bhagavat Dharma. He will preach the religious principles for the age of Kali, like the Yuga avatar of Lord Vishnu. He will even attract the minds of atheistic Yavanas and be worshipped by them. This child will be known as Sri Vishwambar and Navadip Chandra. Fearing that there may be rasabhas, or an unfavorable overlapping of mellows, the Brahmana did not foretell the sannyas pastimes of the Lord. This chapter ends with descriptions of the tumultuous sounds of various musical instruments in the house of Jagganath Misra, the mixing of the demigods' wives with the Brahmana's wives, their blessing the child Lord with duvragras and rice paddy, their requests to the Lord to benefit everyone by remaining in this world for a long time, the celebrations throughout Navadvip of the Lord's appearance, the glories of Sri Gaura and Nityananda's appearance days, how the living entities who observe these days are relieved of nescience and attain devotion to Lord Krishna, the equally glorious nature of the appearance days of both Vishnu and the Vaishnavas, and lastly, the eternal nature of the appearance and activities of the Lord and his devotees. Let me drink a little water here real quick. So I read the summary because I don't think we're going to get through all this. So text 1, I'll just read the translation to save a little time. Behold, Gaurachandra's marketplace, where the jewels of love of God are stacked high. In this way, Lord Gauranga appeared by first inaugurating the Sankirtan movement. From all directions, people went to the Ganges for a bath while chanting the name of Hari. Even persons who never chanted the name of Hari in their lives also chanted the name of Hari as they ran to the Ganges for bath. The sound vibration of the Lord's Hari's name filled the 10 directions. The Lord, who is the best of Brahmanas, appeared with a smile on his face. And then we'll read the commentary. So this commentary is by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So commentary. The tumultuous sound of the chanting of the names of Hari at the transcendental advent of Lord Gaura Sundar, the personification of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, indicated that he would later preach the devotional process of chanting the holy names and thus maintain religious principles in this age. So I don't know if it's mentioned here or later, but we read in this summary that there's a lunar eclipse, so then everybody was going to bathe in the Ganges to remain pure and chanting the names of Hari. So the Acharyas make the point that it was like on the pretext that happened, because Krishna can descend whenever he wants and however he wants. So, seemingly it seemed like there was a lunar eclipse, so everybody was chanting the holy names of the Lord, but that wasn't the case, actually. It was because Lord Chaitanya had actually appeared. So we can similarly understand that also, that sometimes in the world or something, some event may happen, and it may help facilitate Sankirtan more, or whatever it is, but we should understand that these things are going on by the arrangement of Krishna to facilitate the Sankirtan movement, or to help preach in Krishna consciousness in some way. It's not that just things are just happening by chance. We don't believe in just chance. That's an atheistic thought. So we should be aware of that. So they were all chanting the names of Hari, and also, anyways, this morning there was actually a lunar eclipse. I don't know if anybody knew that. This morning it was like from 1 o'clock to like 5 a.m. or something. Anyways. Seeing their son's face, Sachi and Jagganath were filled with ecstasy. They were so overwhelmed that they did not know what to do. The ladies there became excited and simply exclaimed, Jaya, Jaya. In the commentary, all the assembled ladies were totally bewildered. all the you found that funny, huh? all the relatives came rushing to the house of Jagganath Misra, and the whole household became filled with bliss. The word aptagana refers to one's relatives. So it's an exciting occasion. Nowadays, unfortunately, we learn people, they're not, if there's a birth of a child, they're usually not so excited, or they're not excited at all. They're like lamenting. Or some people are still excited. There's a term, actually, I think it's called, I forget the exact psychological, say that? Huh? Postmortem. Yeah, postmortem, something like that. But there's a whole analysis, anyways, whatever it is. But there's a whole analysis that like a woman has a child, and then she goes through this whole phase of depression, thinking that, I could have done so many things in my life and this and that, and I had this child, and then they're angry at the child, and there's this relationship of anyways, I don't know, it's crazy. But the thing is that when Lord Chaitanya was born, everybody was excited and happy about it. And there's so many reasons. I mean, in religious, in dharmic society, a child is born, and they will help carry out dharma, and they will deliver the family and things like that. And then naturally they're Vaishnavas, so they're thinking this boy will be hopefully they're going to calculate the horoscope, so hopefully he'll be a Vaishnava also. It's a very joyous occasion. But nowadays these things aren't so much. But everybody was excited. It also, we can understand too, that didn't happen in some hospital or something like that. It happened in the village. So anyways, so it was a very joyous occasion, very inspiring and very uplifting. And we see also that when Lord Chaitanya, when one of his householder devotees mentioned that he was having some child or something like that. Lord Chaitanya was pleased with that. So we can just see a little bit of how the culture was when Lord Chaitanya was there, and we can take some inspiration from that. So text 9. The father of Sachi Devi and great Brahmana, Nilambara Chakravarti, noted wonderful planetary arrangements in each house of the child's horoscope. So, Nilambara Chakravarti was the father of Sachi Devi. He formerly resided at Magdoba in the district of Faridpura, within present-day Bangladesh. Most of the learned Brahmanas of that time had some knowledge of astrology. After calculating his horoscope, Nilambara Chakravarti began to foretell the future of the Lord, his grandson. So that's an important aspect also. So in Vedic culture, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur mentions here that most Brahmanas had some knowledge of astrology. Because astrology is a vast subject, super vast, and there's like 6 different branches. There's, the planetary calculations. I forget all of them now, but Muhurta, things like, and then the actual, Jataka, which is the study of the horoscope, what we generally understand. And then there's omens and things like that. There's different branches. So some basic knowledge was understood, because, for instance, to open a business or something like that, you would check a specific, different things with the sun and the moon and understand, okay, this is a good day. And then Avadut Chandraprabhu, we were talking before, he was telling me, then on a specific day. And that's also was understood in the, I think in Bangladeshi culture, that you plan on certain days and things like that when the moon's at, this star in this constellation and like that. And if such and such a thing happens, they have little slokas. And then if this such and such thing happens, I forget, it's in one of those, it's in that book by one devotee, Bharat, I think. But it's mentioned that if such and such thing happens, that then this crop won't be good. And they just people kind of knew those things naturally. That culture and that education was there. And it's passed down from generation after generation. So they had some, and then also too, planting crops, opening a business, marriage, of course, like that. It's going on travel. People previously, when they would go on travel, it was very much planned. It wasn't like they just woke up morning and was like, all right, let's go. Sometimes that happened, spontaneous renunciation. But generally people would think about it, okay, what's the good day to travel? And they would have the whole thing planned out. And so those things, and so the Brahmanas in each little village that were there, they would have they'd be able to do all those calculations. And it takes intelligence to do that actually. Nowadays you just use the phone and then you can see all the muhurtas and things like that or whatever. But previously that wasn't the case. You had to be very intelligent in mathematics. So, continuing. The particular zodiac sign that appears on the eastern horizon at a given time for a given place on Earth is called a lagna. The various planets headed by the sun move throughout the zodiac. The north-south zodiac extends 90 degrees, and the east-west zodiac extends 360 degrees. The zodiac is divided into 12 equal signs, or rasis, each consisting of 30 degrees. The second and consecutive signs after the rising sign, or Janma Lagna, are 12 lagnas for wealth, brothers, friends, sons, education, enemies, wife, death, fortune, occupation, income, and expenditure. The word pratilagne means in 12 lagnas, beginning with the lagna for the body. By the word abhuta dekina, it is understood that he saw extraordinary fruits. So astrology is a complicated science. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives some brief understanding of all these different things. And so anyways, it's as we'll understand later, there's different signs, and then within those signs there's different houses or bhavas, which indicate different aspects in people's life, which are these are the order he gives them in, are generally the ones that are followed. The first house, wealth and self, brothers, friends, sons, education, fifth, sixth, enemies, wife, seventh, like that. And then even within that, there's different ways of understanding, one's wife's father, and looking at it can get really complicated. So continuing. In each house there were signs that indicated a king. Moreover, Chakravarti was astonished by the child's beauty and said, so commentary, Sukra, Venus was in Mesha Rasi, Aries, in the constellation of Ashwini. Ketu, the ninth planet, was in Simmarasi, Leela, and Uttar Falguni. Chandra, the moon, was in Simmarasi, in Falguni, the 11th lunar mansion. Shani, Saturn, was in Vrishika Rasi, Scorpio, in Jeshta. Brihaspati, Jupiter, was in Dhanu Rasi, in Purvasada, Sagittarius. Mangala, Mars, was in Makara Rasi, Capricorn, in Shravana. Ravi, the sun, and Rahu were in Kumbha Rasi, Aquarius, and Purvabhadrapada. And Buddha, Mercury, was in Meena Rasi, Pisces, and Uttarabhadrapada. The Lagna was Simha. Mars, the owner of the ninth house, is exalted. Venus and Saturn are almost exalted. Jupiter, in his own house, aspects Venus, which aspects the house of Dharma. Venus, the owner of the 10th house, is as aspected by Jupiter and situated in the 9th house. After scrutinizing study each of the Lord's Lagnas, Nilambara Chakravarti foretold the highest fruits and was struck with wonder by seeing the Lord's beauty, because the Lord is the original personality of Godhead. So just a couple of things about that. So one important aspect is that we can see for this. Hare Krishna. So one important aspect of that is that, a couple of important aspects of that. So one thing is that, as we'll see later, it'll be described that Nilambara Chakravarti Thakur was a great astrologer. So he's a great astrologer, but moreover, he's a great devotee. So because he's a great devotee, he's able to see the astrological chart of Lord Chaitanya and understand that this is a great spiritual personality. Because otherwise, if one is a materialist, that conditioning will veil one's astrological readings, and one may not be able to recognize certain things or understand certain things as far as that aspect goes. So another aspect of this also is that, and we see this too with Krishna, and Ramachandra also, his horoscope's given in the Ramayana. But when Krishna appears, all these different planets are there to glorify him. So it's not that they're bound up by these planets or things like that. But it's just simply, as I understand, and as Shamashundar Prabhu explained, but it's just the language. And so those who can read it, they can understand it and explain that this thing means that and this means that. And so Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he could have elaborated on this very much so. But he didn't do that. He just explained some simple things. And maybe there's different reasons why he might not have done that, but he didn't go into so many details like that. But Nilambara Chakravarti explained some things. So there is a prediction that in the future, a Brahmana will become the king of Bengal. The future will show whether this child is that personality. There was a prophecy amongst people that a great personality would be born in a Brahmana family of Bengal and become king. Nilambara Chakravarti thought that perhaps this boy would in the future become king of Bengal. Time would tell. So, anyways, he was able to see the horoscope and tell that this personality will be a great, leader or king and like that, ruler. Then the great astrologer Brahmana began to speak before everyone present about the symptoms of the various houses in the child horoscope. So Nilambara Chakravarti was a learned teacher of the science of astrology. Therefore, he began to explain the various lagnas of the Lord's horoscope to the people present there. The word Mahajyotirvit is explained as follows. So Sankye Tale Tata Mamse Vaidyai Jyoti Shike Dvije Yatchayam Pati Nidrayam Mahachobdo Nadiyate. If one adds the prefix Maha to Shanka, Conch, Taila, oil, Mamsa, flesh, Vaidya, doctor, Jyotishi, astrologer, Brahmana, Yatra, journey, Pata, path, and Nidra, sleep, it will produce an opposite meaning. Therefore, Maha should not be added to these words. But in this case, it is to be understood that Nilambara Chakravarti was learned and expert in the science of astrology. The word Mahajyotirvit may also indicate one who is learned and expert in spiritual science. And so, anyways, there's a footnote there. I won't read it. But it gives the understanding of, like, when you say Mahashanka, whatever, that means, I think, like, some impure bones or something like that. Yeah, and then all those things just mean the opposite. Mahajyotishi means like someone who's like a fool in astrology. So anyway, so many things could be said about these things, but I don't really want to get on about bad astrologers and all that stuff today. So it's important to note also that, I mean, it's hopefully we'll get there, but it's mentioned that, that so many things happened in the appearance of the Lord in the house of Jagganath Misra. And so it's mentioned here also that there's so many things were discussed about the horoscope of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The astrologer was speaking so many different things. A couple of them are mentioned. So we only get a little drop of the mercy. If we want to know more, it's like, we have to go there and hear all these things and see all these things, because we're missing so much of the nectar. The qualities I see in this child's horoscope are beyond those of a king. In fact, they are beyond all description. While calculating the lagnas, Nilambara Chakravarti could understand the child's wonderful qualities. The word Rajahena means as good as a king or topmost. Actually, no one can properly describe the qualities of this child. So he was seeing that that Lord Chaitanya will be a great acharya, and in this sense that he'll, some supreme personality. Who is this person? This child will be more learned than Brihaspati. He will soon manifest a reservoir of all good qualities. Brihaspati is the most learned personality in heavenly planets. Mahaprabhu would surpass Brihaspati in spiritual knowledge rather than in insignificant material knowledge. In other words, the knowledge of Brahman obtained through the material senses of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the incarnation of Brihaspati, was vanquished by the Lord, just as darkness is vanquished by the rising of the sun. In this way, the Lord would enlighten him with spiritual knowledge in the form of service to Lord Krishna. Sriman Mahaprabhu does not have to endeavor to gradually acquire knowledge, as experienced persons labor hard to gradually acquire knowledge, for he is the ocean of all auspicious qualities. Therefore, on the slightest pretense, he will display full mastery in all fields of knowledge. So, amazing. So sometimes in the world, it's, people are, whatever. They're great rulers, but then they're not intelligent. Like we see in society most recently. Stalin, he was a great ruler, but he was a freaking demon. He was completely adharmic. But it's sometimes it's difficult in society to find somebody that's, a great ruler or greatly intelligent. Maybe somebody's greatly intelligent and not a great ruler. But all auspicious and amazing qualities are found in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his devotees. And they manifest accordingly. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not only the topmost ruler, but, of course, he's also topmost intelligent, even greater than Brihaspati, who's expert in so many fields of knowledge of the demigods. So, in that assembly was one great Brahmana devotee who began to describe the Lord's future activities. At the time of calculating the Lord's horoscope, a great personality well-versed in spiritual knowledge was present there in the form of a Brahmana. He began to describe Mahaprabhu's future transcendental activities or his distribution of love of God. He said, this child is non-different from Narayan. He will reestablish religious principles. The Brahmana said, this boy is Narayan himself, Lord of all lords. He alone will properly reconcile the conflicting principles of various religious preachers. He will preach wonderfully and thus deliver the entire world. This child will distribute throughout the world the splendor of devotional service, which has never before been preached. He will deliver everyone from their narrow-minded desires for material enjoyment, fruit of activities, and speculative knowledge, and fix them in their eternal occupation, devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So we can see here that this astrological reading isn't just about, how much money he'll make or, if he'll have a good marriage life or whatever, but it's about his activities of spreading the Sankirtan movement and delivering people from their material desires and establishing devotional service. People will receive from him love of God that is desired by even Brahma, Shiva, and Sukadev. In Chaitanya Chandramrita, text 18 and 55, it is stated, the dear devotees of Lord Gora happily enjoy pastimes on the splendid path of pure devotional service. which great sages like Vyasadeva could not thoroughly understand, which material intelligence has no power to enter, which Sukadeva Goswami could not reveal, and which merciful Lord Krishna never revealed to his devotees. O Lord Chaitanya Chandra, who enlightens the ignorant, if you grace me with your merciful glance, then even though I am a wretch, I may not be far away from the wonderful path of pure devotion, which is rarely attained by Shiva, Sukadeva, Uddhava, Narada, and other great souls. This child will indiscriminately give everyone that which great personalities like Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Sukadeva Goswami always desire to obtain. Just by seeing him, the persons of this world will develop love for him, compassion for other living entities, and detachment from material enjoyment. By seeing Sriman Mahaprabhu, the people of this world will develop love for Gaura Krishna and become kind to all living entities and equal in happiness and distress. What to speak of others, even Yavanas who are adverse to Vishnu will worship the lotus feet of this child. In the Chaitanya Chandramrita, it is stated, those who are untouched by any piety, who are completely absorbed in irreligion, and who have never received the merciful glance of the devotees or been to any holy place sanctified by them, are still ecstatically dancing, loudly singing, and even rolling about on the ground because they are intoxicated by tasting the nectar of the transcendental mellows of pure love of God, given by Lord Chaitanya. Let me therefore glorify that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Yavanas are naturally averse to Lord Vishnu, but even such Yavanas will give up such propensities to follow the footsteps of Sri Gauranga. So that is a prediction that's still coming true today and being fulfilled by the followers and the disciplic succession of Lord Chaitanya, of coming to the Western world, and even in India nowadays, they are slowly but surely becoming westernized and losing their culture and becoming Malachas and Yavanas. So the power of Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan, that even people who are completely, as they say here, completely untouched by any piety, absorbed in irreligion, and they've never received the merciful glance of the devotees or been to any holy place, that by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, they can be engaged in the Sankirtan movement and experience the highest nectar of love of Godhead, given specifically by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is the mercy of the Parampara. So many different things can be said about all these different things in the purport, but we don't have that much time. But it's important to note that of the power of Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, of those that are outside of the, whatever you could say, that are unqualified, that by Lord Chaitanya's mercy that they become qualified and can obtain the highest platforms of Krishna consciousness. His glories will be sung in innumerable universes, and everyone, including Brahmanas, will offer respects to this child. The word ihana means his. Brahmanas are the spiritual masters of all other varnas, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudras, and Antayajas, or Malachas. Such Brahmanas will also offer obeisances to this child, and the entire universe will become maddened by the fragrance of his fame. He is the personification of religious principles and the benefactor of the demigods, the Brahmanas, the spiritual masters, his father and mother, and the sober devotees. In Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 11, Text 7, it is stated, the Supreme Being, the personality of Godhead, is the essence of all Vedic knowledge, the root of all religious principles, and the memory of great authorities. O King Yudhisthira, the principle of religion is to be understood as evidence. On the basis of this religious principle, everything is satisfied, including one's mind, soul, and even one's body. The gross body and subtle mental functions are all foreign. The soul's eternal activities are called Bhagavat Dharma. The transcendental body of this child is direct service of the Supreme Lord. In other words, he is the personification of devotional service to Lord Krishna. Therefore, godly qualities like subordination to the demigods, brahmanas, spiritual master, father, and mother, who are all devotees of Vishnu, are present in him. Just as Lord Vishnu incarnates and induces people to follow religious principles, This child will perform similar activities. Whenever there is danger in the material world, the demigods pray to the Supreme Lord. Lord Vishnu then incarnates and protects the demigods and human beings from danger. This child will also be as powerful as Vishnu while he fulfills that mission. So just to remind us that, so Lord Chaitanya descended for different reasons, of course, but one reason that he descended was because of Advaita Acharya was petitioning the Lord to come down and to deliver the people, because devotional service was becoming covered over, and they weren't understanding things properly, and they were becoming atheistic. So on his plea, he was begging him to come down also. So that is also there. Who has the power to explain the auspicious symptoms that are found in the houses of this child horoscope? O Jagganath Misra, you are indeed glorious and fortunate, because this child is your son. I offer my obeisances unto you. Seeing Jagganath Misra's son and hearing his glories, everyone considered Jagganath Misra most fortunate. They congratulated him and offered him their obeisances. I am also fortunate to have had the privilege of calculating his horoscope. This child's name will be Sri Vishrambar. The Brahmana decided, I have become fortunate simply by calculating the horoscope of the Lord. The name of this child will be Vishrambar. Yet the people will call him Navadip Chandra. Know for certain that this child is the personification of spiritual ecstasy. People will call this child Navadip Chandra, and they will know him as the embodiment of unalloyed ecstasy. The Brahmana did not mention anything about the Lord's accepting sannyas out of fear for creating a distressful condition amongst the joyous occasion. Although the Brahmana foresaw auspicious symptoms indicating the Lord's acceptance of sannyas, out of fear of disturbing the festive atmosphere, he did not disclose this unhappy news. So that's also important. So the pastimes of the Lord, this is it's a joyous occasion. Everybody's celebrating a new child is born, and he's going to be in the community and things like. And everybody's thinking so many different things. It's amazing. It's amazing festival. And it's described in the summary that would have been Rasabas. And we could just think, it's a great festival and things like that, and then think, he'll take sannyas and leave home. And because sannyas generally meant that someone would leave and they would never come back. So they wouldn't be a part of that village, and they would just, like that, leave. And specifically, severing connections with the family. There may be some connection there, but it's nothing like living there and being at home and taking care of the household duties and all that. So, to facilitate the pastimes and the pleasure, and specifically the mood of this pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead being born, and the celebration there that this Brahmana didn't mention this situation to disturb the festival and make everybody sad or disheartened. Jagganath Misra was overwhelmed with ecstasy upon hearing the child's glories, and he desired to give something in charity to the Brahmana. But because Jagganath Misra was extremely poor, he simply took hold of the Brahmana's feet and cried. The Brahmana then grabbed hold of Jagganath Misra's feet and cried, while the people present there chanted Hari Hari in ecstasy. Hearing the Lord's extraordinary horoscope, the friends and relatives there happily chanted Jaya Jaya. The word Divya Koshti refers to the horoscope of a godly personality. At that time, various musicians came and began to enthusiastically play mridangas, shanai, and flutes. So, a mridanga is a clay oblong drum shell with the right and left open ends covered by leather smeared with mangosteen and stretched into place and connected together by leather straps. It is a famous instrument used in Sankirtan. The use of mridangas was current even during the time of the Lord's appearance. The shanai is a brass musical wind instrument with holes in it. Demigoddesses mixed unnoticed with the ladies present there. After understanding that the Lord had advented, the wives of the demigods mixed with the ladies of this world and assembled at the house of Jagganath Misra with the desire to see the Lord. No one could distinguish the demigoddesses from the worldly women. Aditi, the mother of the demigods, with her right hand placed Paddy and Durvagas on the head of the child and blessed him, saying, "Live a long life." The word Savyahate in this verse means right hand. The word Devamata refers to Aditi, the wife of Kashyapa Muni. She desired that the Lord would always remain on this earth planet. Therefore, she smiled as she blessed him with the words, "Live a long life." So it's just giving indication of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, that everybody in the village was engaged in that service. Even the demigods came down to bless the Lord. So everybody in society has their place in Krishna consciousness, and we see that with the advent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And everybody is happy and blessing, and it's a very amazing, joyous occasion. Even the demigods are coming down to get some association with Lord Chaitanya. So it's so many things could be said. Although Mother Sachi saw the beautiful demigoddesses there, she was too shy to inquire about their identities. The demigoddesses took dust from Sachi Devi's feet, and Sachi became speechless out of joy. The happiness experienced in the house of Jagganath Misra cannot be described by either Lord Ananta or the Vedas. The happiness experienced in the house of Jagganath Misra could not be described by either Lord Ananta or the Vedas. So it's an extremely ecstatic and blissful situation. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur one time said, in relation to, Prabhupada also quoted this. Anyways, there was like some debate amongst the renunciates and the householders in the math. And so anyways, there was, whether it's better to be renounced or to be married. And anyways, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's answer to that was that what do we have to do with renunciation? We're simply trying to enter into the household of Nanda Maharaj. So his point of that was that the happiness, that everything that we're doing, of course, is for the ends meet of becoming Krishna consciousness. And of course, some situations are better than others. But the main thing is that to be in the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his devotees, and to be within that, it could seem just like whatever, like it's just some mundane thing, like some child was born and then everybody's coming along and like that. But it's if we have material vision, it's like that. But this is actually, it's the greatest happiness, which the Ananta can't describe, or the Vedas. And the Vedas have so many descriptions of so many amazing things, even on the material sphere of, on the heavenly planets enjoying this way and how to enjoy in this material world. But the happiness that's experienced in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His pure devotees, and the happiness that's rendered from that service, it's not something that can be easily explained. It's something much better experienced. And so they're just giving some indication here like that. Anyways, there's just some couple words, some sentence, but it's life inspiring. People at the house of Sachi and throughout Nadia felt such ecstasy that is beyond description. Whether in the village, in the houses, or on the bank of the Ganges, everywhere people continuously chanted the names of Lord Hari. Everywhere, everyone observed the festival of the Lord's appearance while thinking they were celebrating the occasion of the eclipse. Since there was a lunar eclipse that night, many people unknowingly celebrated the appearance of Mahaprabhu, although the celebrations were performed on account of the lunar eclipse. They were actually meant for the Lord's appearance. Common men, however, did not understand this fact. So we spoke a little bit about that in the beginning. Just mentioned there again. So Lord Chaitanya appeared on the full moon night of the month of Falgun, a day that's worshipped by Brahma and others. So this day is the reservoir of devotional service and therefore most sanctified, because the Supreme Lord, the best of all Brahmanas, appeared on that day. So the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, also worship the full moon night of the month of Falgun, the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya. The full moon night of the month of Falgun is a spiritual day that is Suddha Sattva Mai, composed of pure goodness, Sakshad Bhakti Sarupina, the personification of devotional service. So that was yesterday. It says amazing, actually. I wish I read this yesterday, but anyways, we're reading it now. So we can always meditate upon that every year on Gaur Purnima. That it's not just, we're not the only ones that are celebrating this day. That Lord Brahma is also celebrating this day. And who is Lord Brahma? He's the head honcho of the universe. He has the topmost position in the material sphere. He lives on Satyaloka. And we can probably safely assume that there's other residents in Satyaloka, and maybe they celebrate Gaur Purnima there also because he's celebrating, and he's probably not going off somewhere by himself to celebrate. So the residents in the higher planets, they're celebrating. They take notice of this day. So similarly, we should take notice of this day. We do take notice of this day, but it's a very important day, and it's so many aspects are so important, especially as Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This is extremely important for us, this Gaur Purnima, and also the other days of the Lord's, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates and things like that. It's also mentioned here that this day is the reservoir of devotional service, and therefore most sanctified, because the Supreme Lord, the best of the Brahmanas, appeared on that day. So I didn't catch the class yesterday because it was in the kitchen. I caught bits and pieces. But I heard one point that Chandanacharya Prabhu was making. He was just saying that, that we should pray, for Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and the mercy is not like, we should be recognized that, to be Krishna conscious isn't that like, okay, I'm going to be Krishna conscious, therefore, like, I'm going to be like the best devotee, or I'm going to get this material thing or that thing, or like, I'm going to live like a comfortable life. And like, that's not why Lord Chaitanya came down to help give everybody a comfortable material life. So we can specifically pray on that day to get Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and what is this here? And to be engaged in devotional service, and to be an instrument in Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. This is the proper mood, and this, especially this day, yesterday, that mercy was there. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur makes the point that this day is Sudha Sattva Mai and Sakshad Bhakti Swarupini, the personification of devotional service comprised of pure goodness. So this day is not, it wasn't, what was it? I see here. It wasn't that yesterday was March 24th, 2024. It wasn't, that's there, but this day yesterday, the Lord Chaitanya's specific potency, the earth was surcharged with that. And and because of Srila Prabhupada specifically, so many thousands of, or whatever, I don't know how many temples there are in the world, but anyways, all the temples that Srila Prabhupada created, and even the splinter groups, they were also celebrating Lord Chaitanya's advent and worshiping him. So that move and that Shakti was there. And so on those days, we can really connect to that. And we can feel that. I mean, it's evident. Everybody felt that. It wasn't, we have to take who felt Lord Chaitanya's mercy yesterday? Everybody was feeling that mercy. And it's and especially on those days, it just comes so easy. It's like when it's like a hurricane outside. I grew up in Florida, so there'd be like massive hurricanes with like 100-mile-an-hour winds and just like raining like anything. So I mean, if you just step outside, you're gonna get wet. And it's not like, you have to go, like sometimes there's like scattered thunderstorms and you got to go like this part of town or that part of town, if you want to catch the rain. But it's like Lord Chaitanya's mercy is just on that day. It's always there, but especially on that day, it's just raining like anything. And so all we have to do is kind of we just have to show up. We just have to be there. We just have to be alive. We just have to wake up that day and get out of bed. And maybe you can even feel it just laying in bed. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is there for everybody. But specifically on that day, it's there 100%. And so much could be said about that. But we should, specifically on Lord Chaitanya's appearance day, we can beg for his mercy. And his mercy isn't, like I was saying, to enjoy this material world, but it is to become fully Krishna conscious. That's why he came. And there's different slokas that explain that. You can all read the Chaitanya Charitamrita and learn all these things. I can also. So Lord Nityananda appeared on the 13th day of the waxing moon in the month of Magha, and Gaurachandra appeared on the full moon evening in the month of Falguna. These 2 days are most auspicious because all favorable planetary conjunctions are present on these days. Therefore, whoever observes these 2 days obtains devotion to Lord Krishna and freedom from bondage to ignorance. Just as the appearance day of the Lord is sanctified, the appearance days of the Vaishnavas are also. So I'm just going to read the translations and finish. Whoever hears about the appearance of Lord Gaurachandra will never feel distress either during this life or at the time of death. By hearing the topics of Sri Chaitanya, one attains the fruit of devotional service to the Supreme Lord and accompanies the Lord in his pastimes life after life. The topics of Adikanda are most pleasing to hear because they describe the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Gaurachandra. Although the Vedas describe the Lord's appearance and disappearance, there is actually no end to his pastimes. I don't see any beginning or end to the topics of Sri Chaitanya. I simply write down whatever he mercifully induces me to speak. So we can plug into that. There's no end to it. And then there's a purport given, but we're going to not read that now. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Gaurachandra along with his devotees so that I may not commit any offenses at their feet. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. So I'm to end at 8:30, and it's 8:31, so I will stop there. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. I was told to end at 8:30, so is the order. Their devotees are going out on Sankirtan today, and they were up late, and so, yeah. I'm sorry.